Hello and welcome to our webinar, Youth Social Emotional Learning. I'm Maggie Reagan, Senior Editor, Books for Youth at Booklist and Book Links. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. Links to today's slide presentation and title list were included in the reminder email you received from Zoom 1 hour ago. To download them, please open that email, scroll to the bottom, and click on the links located there. You can also download the slides and title list by copying the URLs on this screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble accessing these materials, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a section for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions, and we'll pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Last but not least, Booklist now offers closed captioning on all webinars. To enable or disable captions on your screen, please look for and click the live transcript icon on the toolbar mentioned earlier. From there, you can select show or hide subtitles from the menu that appears. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of the captions at any time by selecting subtitle settings. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Colette Perry, Marketing Associate at Charlesbridge, Sylvia Chan, Marketing and Publicity Manager at Tundra Books, Margo Barron, Sales Manager at New Harbinger Press, and Joe Stacy, Digital Marketer and Sales Coordinator at Lorimer Children Teens. First up, we'll hear from Colette Perry. Colette is a Marketing Associate for Charlesbridge. She was born and raised in Portland, Oregon, and holds a bachelor's degree in communication and music from Simmons University. Colette lives in Boston with 3 friends and a very spoiled leopard gecko. Thanks so much for being here today, Colette.
Thank you so much for having me. Good afternoon, good morning for those of you who are joining us from further west, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Colette, and today I'll be walking you through Charlesbridge's collaboration with the publishers of the beloved Chicken Soup for the Soul to produce a series of board books and picture books aimed at promoting the very thing we're all here to hear about today, social emotional learning. Chicken Soup for the Soul children's books impart life lessons that warm the heart with heaping spoonfuls of good humor. I can't sum it up better than Charlesbridge publisher Yolanda Scott, who said, "Our mission to create lifelong readers and learners dovetails perfectly with the Chicken Soup for the Soul vision of making the world a better place, one story at a time." Each title includes parent-educator tips and age-appropriate extension activities to develop the skills and values modeled in the story. On the board book side, we launched Chicken Soup for the Soul Babies in fall 2021 with Everyone Says Please Except Cat and Everyone Shares Except Cat. Katie Mazika's bright illustrations bring Jamie Michalak's sweet rhyming text to life in this charming introduction to basic manners. When we want something, whether it's up or cup, swing or sing, what do we say? Everyone says it, except Cat. Little Cat has his heart set on a cheesy snack, and he wants it now. And when he doesn't get it, instant meltdown. Not a good day for poor little Cat. With a little patience and some good role models, he finally figures out that the way to get his beloved cheese is simply to say, please. Next up, Cat is having a bumpy day at the park. Everyone else shares. A chair, a rug, a sweater, a hug. Not Cat, though. Cat wants the seesaw all to himself. Of course, he finds out that seesaws are no fun to play on alone. And with a little practice, almost everything is tastier, cozier, and just plain better when it's shared with friends. These are our currently available Chicken Soup for the Soul board books, focused on manners and sharing. On the picture book side, we have made our first foray into the Chicken Soup for the Soul kids' shared universe of 123 Sunshine Street with The Sunshine Squad and Sophie and the Tiny Dog Napping. Lorien Two's art brings a ton of fun and personality to Jamie Michalak's warm stories of friendship and kindness. Meet the Sunshine Squad: Oliver, Sophie, Mia, Lucas, and Tommy, a group of friends who play together, learn together, and even live together in the apartment building at 123 Sunshine Street. One day, Oliver gets a great idea. Their squad could be superheroes. Everyone on the team has a special skill: sports star, pet whisperer, prank master, amazing artist. And then there's Tommy, Lucas's tag-along little brother. He doesn't have a special thing yet. Maybe he doesn't really belong on the squad. But then the kids figure out that a little kindness in the right place can be a superpower all of its own. In the next installment, Sophie's in trouble. She loves Mia's dollhouse so much, and most of all, she loves the tiny dog Emma, who lives in the dollhouse. And Mia doesn't even like her dollhouse. She'd rather be out on the basketball court. Surely nobody would even notice if Sophie just took Emma home with her. But Emma just doesn't look right in Sophie's room, and Sophie knows why. She needs to make things right. But doing the right thing is scary. What if Mia won't be her friend anymore? With the help of her friends on the Sunshine Squad, Sophie finds out that telling the truth can be even better than getting a new toy. Our currently available picture books focus on two major social-emotional topics for the grade school set: making it right when you've done something wrong, and figuring out what makes you special. So, on to the future. We have 4 board books coming this year: Fast and Slow, both just right; Me, You, Us, Whose Turn; Now, Barks Dog; and Stuck, What Do I Do? All set to teach the littlest listeners about respecting differences, taking turns, waiting patiently, and listening to directions. Leopard and Sloth are so different. Leopard just doesn't understand why Sloth sits around all day, and Sloth is exhausted just watching Leopard zoom on by. The two agree to switch teams for the day. Sloth is surprised by how fun it is to go, 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 and Leopard notices just how pretty the rainforest is when you slow down a little. They still like their usual speeds, but now they can appreciate what their friends enjoy about doing things differently. Janae Brown Wood weaves a pitch-perfect tale of respecting differences and being true to who you are, slow, fast, or any speed in between. Janae also has readers in stitches with Me, You, Us, Whose Turn, as 2 penguin siblings bicker endlessly over whose turn it is. Whether it's playing with a snow globe or gliding downhill on a sled, each of them has just one thing to say: mine. When their arguing and shoving over the sled gets them both dumped in the snowbank, they learn to slow down and take turns sharing and enjoying the good things, especially a hug from Daddy. Now, Dog is ecstatic to finally be at the national park with Daddy. It's time for s'mores now, right? Not quite. First, they need to find their campsite. Then it's time to set up the tent. Will it ever be time for s'mores? Rajani LaRocca and illustrator Greg Paprocki show us that a little patience and helping out while you wait makes a treat taste even sweeter. Now, Greg Paprocki is still working away with our designers on the cover and interior art for Carol Ruth Silverstein's October addition to the series, Stuck, What Do I Do? A fun playground adventure spotlighting the importance of listening carefully to advice, directions, and warnings. Our 2022 Chicken Soup for the Soul Babies board books are spread out across the spring, summer, and fall seasons to bring laughter and social-emotional learning all year long. As for the upcoming picture books, we're tackling some tricky grade school dilemmas with Will Mia Play It Safe?, Oliver Powers Through, and Lucas's Tricky Day. Mia has her thing: basketball. She's the best at it. She would much rather stick with what she knows than try anything else. When the squad wants to draw, do magic tricks, or play make-believe, that's okay. Mia will just be over here, practicing her basketball. When a new kid shows up, Mia sticks with the team she knows, but she wonders how the new girl was brave enough to say hi and ask if she could join their game. Janae Brown Wood hits it out of the park. Sorry, wrong sport. with this charming story about leaving your comfort zone and giving new things and new people a chance. Oliver struggles with something a little different. His room is a total mess. He can't find anything, and there's not enough room for the Sunshine Squad to spread out and have fun. He can't even go outside to play with his friends until he cleans his room, but the mess is so overwhelming. Where does he even start? With a little help from his super friends, Oliver conquers the worst of the mess, just enough that he can finish up all on his own. Janae's second Sunshine Squad story is a great reminder to take a breath, ask for help when you need it, and break down big responsibilities into little ones to get the job done. This fall, Rajani LaRocca is bringing us a sweet and nuanced look at positivity in Lucas's Tricky Day. Interior art is still in the works with illustrator India Valle. We're very excited to see where Chicken Soup for the Soul Kids will take us next. These summer and fall 2022 titles are a great start. You can visit charlesbridge.com/chickensoup to find downloadable lesson plans and goodies, including tie-in videos and a podcast appearance by Chicken Soup publisher Amy Newmark. From manners, sharing, and turn-taking skills to trying new things, helping out at home, and making amends, Chicken Soup for the Soul children's books do it all. Thank you for listening and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Colette. We'll now hear from Sylvia Chan. Sylvia is the marketing and publicity manager at Penguin Random House Canada Young Readers. Oh, no, I'm sorry. She is a former competitive swimmer, abacus trainee, and camp leader for the city's parks and recreation programs. Sylvia started her publishing career in the publicity and editorial departments at Tundra Books. She was raised in Hong Kong, Fort Lauderdale, and currently lives in Toronto. Take it away, Sylvia.
Thank you for the introduction and welcome to Tundra. We have divided our social emotional learning plus mental health and wellness picture book titles into 5 categories for you today. Our first section focuses on dealing with big feelings. Petal the Angry Cow is a hilarious barnyard tale about a big-hearted cow with an even bigger temper. This laugh out loud story will tickle even the grumpiest reader, and Petal's thumping tantrums will feel very familiar to parents and kids alike. But like Petal, this story also has a heart of gold. Later in the story, Petal meets a swan who shows her a thing or two about misbehaving, and Petal learns from Swan's bad example and is then able to self-correct and control her own temper. In doing so, Petal also learns how her temper can affect her friends and those around her. Petal the Angry Cow is perfect for a fun read aloud, where adults will enjoy themselves as much as the kids, and hopefully kids who have meltdowns will start to see the different side of it too. Next, we join a tearful worm and a narrator as they explore the many uses for tears in this hilarious and quirky picture book. If You Cry Like a Fountain's unique take on sadness, emotion, and the practical application of tears is presented as a faux how-to guide. It showcases creative ways to teach kids about the importance of expressing emotion and that crying is okay. Despite its humorous approach, this is a book that celebrates tears and vulnerability, supporting social emotional learning and development. This is the perfect book for anyone who needs a smile or some cheering up. I Do Not Like Yolanda explores fear and kindness when Bianca decides to overcome her terror and asks Yolanda how her weekend was, and learns that Yolanda is not scary at all. She is a delight, and as a result, Bianca makes a new friend from this experience. I Do Not Like Yolanda teaches kids about questioning your assumptions and reaching out to another person, no matter how scary they might seem to be. This picture book will prompt discussions of empathy, community, bravery, and seeing things from different perspectives. Our next category is grief, and Rodney Was a Tortoise is a comforting and gentle picture book about loss that shows how the strength of friendship can help a child overcome the sadness of her pet's death. The book can also serve as a primer and conversation starter for adults. It shows how friends can help you through the toughest of times, and sometimes it's not what you say, it's just being present that matters. Publishers Weekly's Start Review called Nan Foiler's writing wry and observational. and that Yonglin Kang's illustrations give this tale of loss its own distinctive, endearing resonance. The Horn Books Star Review said, "This tender story about losing a friend and making room for a new one ends in a realistically hopeful note." Next, a garden of creature approaches death and dying in a gentle yet open and unpatronizing way. And the discussions that make up the story will prompt thoughtful, important conversations between young readers and their educators. Two bunnies and a cat live happily together in a beautiful garden, but when the big bunny passes away, the little bunny is unsure how to fill the void she left behind. With the wisdom of the cat to guide her, the little bunny learns that missing someone is a way of keeping them close, and together they discover that the big bunny is a part of everything around them, the grass, the air, the leaves, for the world is a garden of creatures. Readers of all ages will find comfort within the sweet creatures of the garden and their messages. A Garden of Creatures is a tender and deeply moving picture book about loss and the big questions it leaves behind. Moving on to empathy. In Midnight and Moon, the little girl Clara does not speak, and the horse named Moon cannot see. Yet the two form a special connection and end up as heroes, saving the whole herd during a major snowstorm. This picture book will help readers celebrate the qualities that challenge us and make us different. A starred review from Booklist describes Midnight and Moon. The story's gentle drama and quiet heroics of two characters with disabilities make this a wonderful read that also affirms being introverted, nonverbal, or shy. Next, The Brave Girl in Out into the Big Wide Lake is inspired by the author's own brave little sister, Linda, who has Down syndrome. In the book, Kate has Down syndrome and is treated with great respect and dignity. She faces the same fears and doubts as any other character and is universally relatable. At its core, Out into the Big Wide Lake is an empowering and necessary picture book about a young girl who gains confidence and independence through a visit to her grandparents. This picture book won the 2021 Ezra Jack Keats Best New Writer Award and was nominated for the 2021 Governor General's Literary Award for Young People's Literature and Illustrated Books. Next, in this timely book, Tough Like Mom introduces economic diversity, family hardship, and empathy to children. Kim and her single mom are having a tough time. The power has been shut off in their apartment, and Kim needs a form signed that allows for her school trip to be paid for. These difficult circumstances help explore the pressures that kids feel when they have to grow up faster than their friends to take on roles that adults in their lives can't. The Wall Street Journal called Tough Like Mom powerful, while the New York Times said this tender tale imparts that asking for help shows toughness too. And the Horn Book concludes that readers should come away from the story realizing that staying tough is not the only answer. Serving up our category about confidence, we are swinging big with BB's Got Game. BB feels strong and powerful on the court. Her serve is like lightning, her backhand booms like thunder, and her forehand is as fierce as a hurricane. But one day, everything changes when she is injured on the playground. BB is heartbroken. Sad, frustrated, and angry. She decides to quit tennis, but her mother shows her how to meditate and dispel the self-doubt and negativity. BB learns to focus on all the things that make her grateful and happy, and when her body is ready to go back to tennis, so is her mind. BB's Got Game is an introduction to meditation and mindfulness for kids, and is for fans of tennis, especially of tennis star Bianca Andreescu. Next, we have Carol, who wears a very talkative toad as a hat. Her toad hat is very bossy, but when her toad hat is plucked away by a pigeon, how will Carol know what to do? After spending so long being told what to eat and what to do and what to paint, Carol's not sure about what she wants, and nothing feels quite right. Feeling lost, she creates a new hat, a toad made out of pickles and eggs, to help guide her. But when a pigeon takes that hat away too, Carol begins to understand that there is a big booming voice that lives inside herself, and it's well worth listening to. Carol and the Pickle Toad is a story that celebrates finding your own voice and developing self-confidence, perfect for those looking for picture books with themes of anxiety, mindfulness, and girl empowerment. My Lala is a celebration of a little girl's confidence. Lala is the perfect, exuberant, and carefree protagonist who is literally making her mark on the world. Even when she runs out of dots, she realizes that she can create her own red dots to put on things. You can't help but smile as you soak in Lala's bright and joyful energy. It is sure to inspire confidence and positive thinking at preschool story times. Our last category is what makes a family. In the language of flowers, a baby bumblebee is in need of fostering. The flowers name her Beatrice, and they care for her and help her find her wings. And as she grows older, Beatrice's mission to share messages of kindness, appreciation, and positivity will inspire readers to do the same. Beatrice learns the language of her adopted floral family, while readers will learn that the secret to flourishing is kindness and appreciation. In addition to the adoption narrative, the language of flowers includes STEM content about pollination and the important relationship between bees and flowers. Next, the family tree is loosely based on the author's own experience and explores the different ways families are created and how the modern family is more diverse and welcoming than ever before. This picture book will explore children who are adopted, conceived through IVF, have blended families, or are in foster care. If you know anyone who has ever been stumped by a family tree assignment, whether it be the child, parents, or guardians, and are looking for a discussion starter about what makes a family in a family tree, this book is the perfect fit. Finally, there's Bert's Way Home, an accessible and short graphic novel about foster care and the meaning of home. Bert's story is that he's an alien from a distant galaxy with advanced technology, but a cosmic accident has left Bert stranded on Earth without his parents. From the perspective of his foster mother, Lydia, she's less focused on trying to understand his story than she is on taking care of him and supporting him. But Bert struggles to adjust to his new home, and Lydia tries her best. But when Bert embarks on a plan to teleport home once and for all and ventures out into the cold alone, Lydia will have to find a way to bridge the gulf between them. Thank you for joining us at Tundra Books. You can download all of the Tundra Time activity sheets and guides from our website or email us. Join us online and we'll chat with you soon.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. And next up, we'll hear from Margo Barron. Margo has been with New Harbinger Publications for 16 years this April as manager of the sales team. She takes great pride in working for an employee-owned house whose mission is to reduce human suffering. She enjoys the people and projects involved in working with national chains, foreign distributors, independent bookstores and reps, authors, and her team in our ever-changing publishing industry. Take it away, Margo.
Thanks so much, Maggie, and thanks everyone for being here today. So New Harbinger Publications, we've been around for almost 50 years as of this coming year, 2023. And we are proud to bring about the best in evidence-based, clinically proven self-help and psychology books. Next slide, please. And in 2007, we acquired Instant Help Books from the founder, renowned clinical psychologist, Larry Shapiro. And these books and workbooks teach children and teens effective skills for dealing with a variety of mental health issues and life challenges. So I'm super pleased today to be sharing with you some of these books that are coming out here in the next couple of months. And yes, I did mention workbooks. So there are several books in this list that include fill-ins. And we have found that librarians have shared with us that there have been lots of success in bringing these into libraries and asking patrons to simply write in journals outside of the books. And I will just share with you that when you see one of these books that I'm presenting that says solutions, Instant Help Solutions, that means it is not a workbook format. So there aren't any fill-ins. Next. The first book I have for you today is the Resilience Workbook for Kids. These workbooks for kids have a letter for the parents to understand how to work with their children through these workbooks. So that's a nice little benefit. These are usually geared toward children of ages 7 through 12. This one specifically is. It is brought to us by Karen Brack-Feldman, PhD, and Rebecca Calmizo MA, and these two psychologists offer 40 fun activities for kids who have been exposed to intense, frequent, or sustained stress to learn skills, transform stress, and bounce back from adversity. Unfortunately, we're seeing an increase in the proportion of mental health emergency visits for children ages 5 through 12. This is based on information put out by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, and unfortunately that number is rising. And what do kids need to bounce back from this stress? Resilience, that's what they need. And the great thing is that resilience can be taught. That is the good news here. And this workbook will help children develop the skills needed to build resilience in the face of stress and adversity, and set them up to really bounce back in times of stress and adversity. Children will be taught how to manage their emotions, change their mindsets, change their behaviors, and create a community and culture that supports the resilience. Children will learn what resilience is and why it's important. They will discover the difference between good versus bad stress and the impact that stress can have on their minds and bodies. They will learn essential skills to better self-regulate and make emotions their friends, challenge their negative beliefs, and build optimism and a growth mindset. Specifically, this workbook will engage kids with games, surveys, activities, and fun exercises to reinforce their learning. Next, we have a book. Again, this is a solution series from our solution series from Instant Help. This is not a workbook. This is When Anxiety Makes You Angry, CBT Anger Management Skills for Teens with Anxiety-Driven Anger by Kelsey Torgerson Dunn. She's an MSW and Lcsw. So basically what we're seeing is a lot of anger in schools right now, on the play yard, at break, and what we're finding is statistically that this is anger-driven anxiety. It's the tip of the iceberg. The anger is what's visible and what's externally demonstrated, and the ice that pokes up above the surface there when you look at this iceberg, and it's only about 10% of the problem. What lies beneath the surface and makes up the other 90% of that iceberg is anxiety, sadness, stress, trauma. The author writes, while our external expression may look like anger, under the surface, our emotions may be rolling in a ton of different directions. If we only pay attention to the tip of our anger iceberg, not only are we missing out on a huge part of the story, but we also won't be able to help ourselves with our anger reactions. Treating the tip of the iceberg doesn't address the underlying issues. We have to figure out what's going on before we can deal with the remaining 90%. So in this book, teens will learn about anger, anxiety, and the mechanisms of fight, flight, and freeze. From there, they will be introduced to cognitive behavioral therapy and how to feel in charge of their thoughts rather than the other way around. Accept those thoughts and feelings for what they are rather than trying to ignore them, which usually makes the issue worse. And then the book moves on into building self-regulation through exploring the window of tolerance, practicing coping skills, and with detailed walkthroughs and problem solving. The book ends by bringing all these chapters together for the author's three-step approach to anxiety and anger management, which is identify and empathize. That's determining what you're feeling, understanding your emotions, identifying the problem. Second is calm, understanding that before you solve a problem, you need to have a calm brain. Then choosing relaxation strategies and tracking your level of calm before moving on to the third strategy, which is game plan. What can I do next? How can I solve the problems? And what are the consequences of my choices? So Kelsey is an LSW that specializes in anxiety and anger management therapy for kids, teens, and college students. She's been doing this for many years. This is her life's work, and we're very pleased to have this book with Kelsey. The next is a workbook, the Anxious Thoughts Workbook for Teens, CBT Skills to Quiet the Unwanted Negative Thoughts That Cause Anxiety and Worry by David Clarke, PhD. So David is a renowned CBT psychologist, and here he teaches teens how to change the unwanted anxious thoughts that drive poor mental health, strip these upsetting thoughts of their meaning and power, and detox their mind with proven effective strategies, helping them focus on thinking positively and getting back to the things that matter most. According to the National Institutes of Health, nearly 1 in 3 of all adolescents ages 13 to 18 will experience an anxiety disorder. This number has been steadily rising over the past 10 years. So this book is really necessary right now. The problem are these distressing, repetitive, and intrusive thoughts that drive the anxiety and depression that these teens are feeling. And then our author brings the solution, which is easy to use CBT skills. That's cognitive behavioral therapy with a little neuroscience thrown in to help, again, change these destructive thinking patterns responsible for the persistence of anxiety and depressive thinking. So yeah, there are 42 activity chapters that deliver clinically proven CBT interventions to help reorient thinking. And as I said, David is a specialist in this field. We're so thrilled that he's doing this. He actually did the adult version of this book for us and agreed to do the workbook for teens. So we're thrilled to have this with him. Next is the Socially Confident Teen, an attachment theory workbook to help you feel good about yourself and connect with others by Christina Reese, PhD. So this book was written to teenagers ages 13 to 19. Many teenagers struggle developmentally appropriately with increasing peer supports while decreasing family supports. That's just the natural course of a teen's life, where they pull away from their families and lean more to their peers. And this is a common challenge in all families with all teenagers. Learning about the healthy relationships and social skills is so important. Healthy relationships and secure attachments lead to improved self-esteem and mental health. And most importantly, relationships form our support systems and contribute to resilience and the ability to heal from loss, trauma, and painful experiences. So this will really be a go-to how-to guide for teens to build their social skills. It'll teach teens how to learn to make responsible decisions, how to learn from their mistakes, how to choose positive peer relationships, how to maintain supportive relationships with their parents, and how to have healthy relationships as they move toward their adult years. So Dr. Christina Reese is an internationally recognized trauma expert who provides training for mental health professionals and has authored several books about trauma and attachment. She's been working with children and families for the last 20 years. And again, another book we're thrilled to have on our list. Next is a new edition of the Self-Esteem Workbook for Teens, activities to help you build confidence and achieve your goals. This is by our author, Lisa Schaub. She's an Lcsw. She's an incredible author for us, written many of our best-selling instant help books. And in this fully revised edition, she really looks at the comments and feedback she received and the research that she's done on this topic about the most common factors that build teen self-esteem, which include confidence in their social standing, acceptance from peers, confidence in their ability to succeed in activities and pursuits, and confidence in their physical appearance. So basically, the author has considered all of this information and adjusted the material in this new edition to include and address these issues. There'll also be added activities on social problems that significantly affect teen self-esteem, social media, bullying, and mental health stigma. So again, this book has just done so well and been so well received for us. Teens really get into this self-esteem, which is so necessary in all aspects of their life. And that is that book from Lisa Schaub. And next we have Your Amazing Teen Brain, CBT and Neuroscience Skills to Stress Less, Balance Emotions, and Strengthen Your Growing Mind by Alyssa, Melvinson, Lcsw. So our therapist here offers fun and easy brain hacks grounded in cognitive behavior therapy and neuroscience to help teen readers manage difficult emotions, build better relationships, and face all the challenges of growing up. So we're thrilled to have gotten a Booklist review for this book. Our author's respect for young people is evident, and she makes a complex topic very understandable. Teens seeking practical, useful, and reassuring advice will find this an engaging book. So we're thrilled to have that review. And in this book, basically, teens are getting a guide to managing the intense emotions and life challenges of adolescence. Teens' brains are young, they're energized, they're ready for changes, they're overreacting, they're overfeeling, and the general unsteadiness of teen years are because their brains are primed and ready and learning and growing and making real change all the time. So readers can learn to influence the change that occurs by helping their brain focus on what helps and moving away from what hurts. So at the beginning, teens will learn how their brain works and why adolescence is a great time to start helping it do its best work. They will then learn about the transformation of both body and of emotions during the teen years under the influence of rising hormones, a quickly growing body, and powerful struggles in emotion and feeling. Skills from cognitive behavioral therapy are a powerful way to influence their brains and help it cope with these changes more effectively. We then move on into the book. The teens will look at their experience with peers and friends. A teen's brain is wired to develop intense and lasting bonds with peers. They'll learn how their brains influence this process and how they can stay stable and sane even as relationships go haywire. Teen brains crave newness and excitement. In the next chapter, they'll discover how their brains and why are so interested in newness and how to satisfy that desire for experience without accidentally landing in trouble. Then a new level of stress strikes as the brain undergoes transformation during the teen years. CBT will help readers cope with new stressors of peer pressure, standardized testing, and pressure about the future. Finally, they will learn about the neuroscience of developing their identity as an emerging adult and writing their own story the way they want to. The book ends helping the reader define the gains they're making during these years and what parts of their lives they want to emphasize. So a really phenomenal book here for any teen. Parents will certainly want their kids to read this book. And then finally, we have a book for college students. This is not in the Instant Help series, but I did want to share it with you today. If I could find my pitch for you right here. This is The Mindful College Student, essential skills to help you succeed, boost well-being, and build the life you want. So this is from Eric Laux, PhD. He brings to us a clinically proven mindfulness-based college course out of Brown University that teaches students essential mindfulness skills to help them flourish during this transitional period and throughout their lifetime. Unfortunately, the mental health issues being faced by young adults are on a scale like never before experienced. And this program will really help them with the many issues they're facing, including loneliness, disruptive sleep patterns. Some are indulging in binge drinking, and anxiety and depression are their top concerns. So this practice, this course that's outlined in this book is going to help them with all of these things. It's the perfect gift for college-bound students that offers mindfulness habits for life. And that's something I really like about all of these books I've pitched to you today, is that if we allow our young people, children and teens, to get these tools early on to really embrace these skills that these books have to offer and their authors have to offer, then they will have these tools for life. So once again, thank you so much to Booklist. Thank you all for listening to me today. And I will wrap this up and say thank you.
Thank you so much, Margo. And finally, we have Stacy. Joe is the digital marketer and sales coordinator at James Lorimer and Company. He has an honors BA in English and Cultural Studies from McMaster University and is from Hamilton, Ontario. In the past, Joe has volunteered for Gritlit, Hamilton Readers and Writers Festival, and worked in publishing in various capacities at Woolsack and Wynne at the University of Toronto Press. Take it away, Joe.
Hi, everyone. So next slide, please. So about us and our social emotional learning. So we publish books that provide lots of opportunities for meaningful social and emotional learning. By focusing on contemporary issues and settings, our books engage kids and teens with realistic, relatable stories. This provides young readers the chance to develop socially and emotionally through introspection, different points of view, and issues that they can relate to. We've been publishing fiction and nonfiction books for kids through our Lorimer and Formac imprint since 1975. Next slide, please. Yeah, first, so I'm going to take you through a selection of our resources that promote social emotional learning in beginning readers. Next slide, please. Yep. So our first series up is The Secret Games of Maximus Taund. It's a series of 6 books so far. This series gives kids the opportunity to experience empathy and understanding as it introduces readers to neurodiversity through humor. They're fast-paced, humorous stories for early readers. Its main character presents as having ADHD and dyslexia, making them very relatable to many students. We've made this book dyslexia friendly by using fonts, papers, and layout that is more accessible to dyslexic readers. Next slide, please. Our two newest books in the series are Camping Chaos and School Trip Squirmies. This series gives readers the chance to experience everyday situations from a neurodivergent perspective. Readers also get the chance to see how Max manages these experiences. Next slide, please. So next up, we're going to go through our resources that promote social emotional learning in middle grades. Next slide, please. The Deal With It series is a nonfiction series. It currently has 28 books and counting that tackle conflicts and issues that teens deal with in their everyday life. These books show kids and teens how to approach difficult situations with understanding, introspection, and social awareness. It models how to take different perspectives and better understand other points of view by using graphic novel style illustrations. The illustrations reflect the diversity of real people, and the artwork used is non-stereotyped. Quizzes and Q&As are used in these books to provide real-life scenarios for social emotional learning. Next slide, please. Two of our newest books in the series, White Privilege and Islamophobia, help deal with these timely topics. Thank you. Next slide. Next up, in terms of series, we have our Sports Stories collection. This is one of our longest running series and has over 153 books. This fiction series features characters with diverse racial, physical, mental, and economic backgrounds. And the stories promote responsible decision-making, social awareness, relationship building, and self-management through characters that are dealing with real-life problems such as teamwork or balancing responsibilities at home to racial and gender conflict. Next slide, please. Two of our newer titles, Hoopers looks at the development of leadership and dedication, while Half Court Trap reflects the issues of body image and rivalry. Next slide, please. Paddle Battle offers strategies for finding emotional support through difficult events, in this case, a wildfire, while Bank Shot looks at how to find the balance between responsibilities at home and team life. Next slide, please. And our final section contains resources that will help young adults develop socially and emotionally. Next slide, please. Our Real Love series is a collection of short, very readable books that are aimed at kids and teens who don't usually read long literary fiction. These books are all written by LGBTQ authors, and the collection models to readers and how teens build self and social awareness, as well as relationship skills. The LGBT characters explore their gender identity, sexuality, and relationships. Next slide, please. Our new releases in the series, In a Heartbeat, gives the opportunity to readers to develop their self-awareness and the ability to live their truth as they follow the main character adapting to a new place. Walk This Way will serve as an example to readers on how to face their own emotions and find their authentic selves as they follow the main character Joshua, doing exactly this through drag. And the Love Code will model relationship building to readers as it follows Astrid's new relationship as she enters the world of robotics. Next slide, please. Sidestreets is a collection of 70 books and counting that tackle edgy, real-world problems that teens today experience, such as class issues and crime, substance abuse, the Me Too movement, and mental health. This series really focuses on social and self-awareness and responsible decision-making, which are key aspects of social and emotional growth. Next slide, please. Open Secrets will help readers navigate difficult social situations with awareness as readers follow Anna as she joins the music industry and is confronted by its darker side in terms of a Me Too story. Spin Out will help readers develop their self-management as they follow main character Ben, realizing and addressing his online gambling addiction. And No One's Baby develops readers' decision-making and self-awareness as they're introduced to interracial teen Liz, who is trying to decide what to do with an unexpected pregnancy. Next slide, please. The Player will help readers with confronting their own emotions in relationships and being true to themselves as they follow gay goalie Cooper coming out in the world of hockey. And No Known Address will help readers with responsible decision-making and social awareness as it follows Tyler's difficulties getting help after being kicked out of his home by an abusive parent. Next slide, please. Next up, we have our independent YA novels. So Jamila at the End of the World introduces social emotional learners to ways of coping with their climate change anxiety by following Jamila through her own journey from anxiety to activism. Next slide, please. Looking up at the upcoming fall season, we have 3 titles coming up. They're independent YA novels. The Summer Between Us helps readers with finding their own place in the world as main character Adrian navigates systemic racism and toxic masculinity. Responsible decision-making and social awareness are at the forefront of Cree Boy as it follows Josh navigating Indigenous gang life and what his future holds. And Denial will help readers with their own mental health crisis and the difficulties teens face with pregnancy denial as they follow Nova's first relationship. Next slide, please. And that's all for us. And of course, you can find us online, and our books can be ordered through our distributor, Lorimer Books.
Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you again to all of our panelists today. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's slide presentation, title list, certificate of completion, and video recording. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit www.booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past webinars and register for upcoming ones like those you see here. If you're not yet a subscriber, you can pair the print reading experience with the convenience of online access at booklistonline.com and lock in print, online, digital, and archive access by taking advantage of this special webinar offer to get Booklist for only $75. Patron-friendly, librarian-approved, and free with a Booklist subscription, Booklist Reader, Booklist's new digital-only magazine highlighting diverse readers' advisory recommendations for all ages, has arrived. To see and share the latest issue, visit booklistonline.com/reader-issues. And we're very excited to share that Booklist, Book Links, and Booklist Reader recently joined the Overdrive Magazine's program in partnership with Zinio and are available for your patrons to read in Libby. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. One more huge thank you to our panelists and to our sponsors, New Harbinger Press, Tundra Books, Charlesbridge, and Lorimer Children Teens. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.